were talking last weekend about kind of some absurd things that have happened in Magic thanks to a particular rule, and it seemed like a perfect topic here. And so the rule I'm referring to, I guess I don't know the exact number, is when you have an illegal board state or a board state that was reached by illegal means, but it's too late to correct. Often it'll just the ruling is for it to stay the same.
Yeah. An
example of this: you tap 4 mana for a card that costs 5 mana, but then your opponent doesn't notice until your next turn. At that point, that card stays in play. Mm-hmm. It's too late to back up. You don't get to just return it to your hand. The ruling is that card stays in play. And this is one of the most unintuitive rules because of what it leads to. But there have been some pretty good, great instances of this happening in tournaments that I've been to or heard about. So I just want to detail exactly the absurdity that this leads to, especially since this is one of the rules that leads to the most, how did they get there? Board states that just couldn't actually happen.
Okay. I got to hear this.
So my first example is from GP Auckland in 2008. And this is just one of the straight up, my opponent played a spell for 5 mana when it actually cost 6. It was a Steel-clad Serpent, which is a 6 mana 4/5 that can only attack if you have another artifact.
Okay.
Not a particularly good card, but it was playable. My opponent paid 5 for it. I played my card on their next turn. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that costs 6, and you only have 5 mana in play. Oh, you must have played it last turn. We call the judge over. It stays in play. My opponent then declined to attack with it because he felt that it would be taking advantage of it. Passed the turn.
Interesting. I
played something, passed back, and my opponent's like, well, you could have attacked. I wouldn't have blocked. And I was just thinking to myself, yeah, but I didn't know that. And
yeah.
Because my opponent didn't tell me that. He just didn't attack with it, and then said he wouldn't have blocked that after I'd already passed the turn. So
yeah,
this was actually my introduction to this rule, and the whole time I'm thinking this is so unfair. How could this happen? But I mean,
I bet
it's just hard to reverse. So I'm like, all right. The next time this happened was at Pro Tour Paris when Martin Yuza played a Blightsteel Colossus. This is a 12/12 infect trample for 12. And he played it for 11 mana. It cost 12.
Yeah, it's an 11/11 trample infect for 12.
Sorry, 11/11. So it's modeled after Darksteel Colossus, which was an original mirrored, and that did cost 11.
Yeah.
Martin just conflated the two cards, paid 11 for the card. Again, they did not realize till his next turn it was irreversible. And this time Martin actually did run the I'm not going to attack with this until I could have cast it. He actually passed with Blightsteel Colossus and played for 5 turns.
Because he was still finding that next land?
Because he never found the 12th. He eventually found the 12th. Basically didn't do anything for a turn. The next turn attacked with it and won the game. So he didn't have to do this. And this was at a Pro Tour.
Wow.
And he could have just attacked his opponent. But instead, he just kind of sat on his Blightsteel Colossus. So,
oh, man.
But the all-time favorite, the undefeated world champion of this instance is was at GP Brussels in 2008. It was Shadowmoor Eventide Sealed, or Shadowmoor Sealed, I guess. And there's a card called Briarberry Cohort. It's 1 and a blue for a 1/1. And it is flying, and it says if you control another blue creature, this has +1/+1. So one of the players cast a Briarberry Cohort on turn 2. 2 turns later, not 1 turn later, 2 turns later on their opponent's next turn. So again, this is a common theme here, irreversible. Both the player and the opponent realize that the player who cast Briarberry Cohort accidentally put Isleback Spawn into play.
What?
Which, even if you don't know the card, it sounds like it's pretty big. Isn't
that 7 mana or something?
It's a 7 mana 4/8 Shroud.
Yeah, I remember this card.
Or if there's only 20 cards in someone's deck. So the judge gets called over. They're like, yeah, he said he played Briarberry Cohort, and then we didn't notice till his next turn he actually put the Isleback Spawn into play, and the judge verified the player had Briarberry Cohort in hand, because you have to watch out and make sure they're not cheating, and in this case they determined, the player just made an innocent mistake. The ruling was the Isleback Spawn stayed in play.
No. Oh, that's brutal.
That is the ruling. The fact that it's ridiculous has nothing to do with it. The rules are the rules. So this player ends up with a 4/8 Shroud in play on turn 2.
That is horrible.
The player shrugs, attacks for 4, and then plays Briarberry Cohort, and now Briarberry Cohort's a 2/2 because there's another blue creature in play.
Oh my god, that is so brutal.
So I've actually linked you to this because this was a feature match, or not a feature match. This was one of the stories that was reported from that tournament because it was just so ridiculous. But I mean, at this point, like, what are you gonna do? You've got this Isleback spawn in play. Like, you're told it's fine to have it in play. You're not getting penalized. I mean, you're getting a warning, but the Isleback spawn's not made for not attacking.
So you just do it, right? I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it.
I don't know if I would. It does seem ridiculous to me. I'm not blaming the player who attacked because it was a legal option. They weren't trying to cheat. This just happened to happen. But
that is absurd.
If this is one of those truth is stranger than fiction moments that this game was adjudicated according to the rules. Things were ruled correctly. There was no misruling. Neither player did anything that was, cheating. It was they made a gameplay error and they got a warning. End of the day, there's an Isleback spawn in play on turn 2. This is probably
made a 2-mana 4/8 shroud.
This is the thing is you can't do it on purpose. That is cheating. But this is apparently the best way to cast Isleback spawn on turn 2.